and we need to apply ourselves. And as you know, Brighton are a fantastic outfit. We might as well just preview the Brighton game right off the back of this, really and truly. But as you know, Brighton, they're performing very well. Again, last season wasn't really a season to scream and shout for Brighton, but they're coming a long way. They're having a good season so far, really and truly. They're ahead of us. They've got a fantastic manager, fantastic bunch of players. They play a good system. Again, we did the double over them last year, so I know they want to put it right. And to be honest with you, Brighton away is always a scary one. We know they've got that villain in, which is Maupay, and you can see the Brighton admin talking about it. Let's be honest, Brighton have forced this rivalry with Arsenal, and just because of what happened with Guendouzi, it's become something. So it is what it is, people. So it's going to be an interesting outfit. The one big question I have is, do we switch? I don't want to break something. I don't want to try and fix something that isn't broken. So I do think we need to just keep the same team, go with a 4 and whatnot. But we do need to be able to be adaptable beyond the obvious. Xhaka can't play, so I'd imagine Lokonga comes in. I'm torn between a back 4 people or obviously going to a back 3 and matching them, because you've actually seen Brighton can play a 4-4-2 as they've done on occasion this season, and they also can play 3 at the back, and they're performing well. So obviously the Ben White derby as well, he should be able to give us some insider info. They probably know him better than his new teammates know him. So again, this is a game where I hope Ben White's up for it. I'm going to need Gabriel and Ben White to be up for it. Again, same way you lot stood up to be counted against Harry Kane, you're going against a good striker in Maupay. You know Brighton already, people. They've got talented players. Maupay, Tassar, Basuma, if fit, he's having a late fitness test. I know they are missing a couple of other players here and there. They've got a good outfit. They've got a good solid unit defensively, where arguably you could say Ben White weren't even the best there. You've got Webster, you've got Byrne, Duffy's come back into the fold, and you've obviously got Dunk, who can count himself probably unlucky to not be called up for England if he is eligible, because again, what's Connor Cody done this season that he hasn't done, and historically. So they've got a good defensive unit, street smart individuals. I think if we're going to hit them in any areas, I think you've got to go down the sides. I think naturally playing a back 3, go down the sides. I am tempted to go 2 up front, because again, we can press a back 3 with 1 man, but if you press it with 2, we might be able to force them long, try to fight them for the first and second battles. We are going against a 12th man as well. The Brighton fans are going to be up for this, and same way our fans made the difference for us, they're going to make the difference for them. And Arsenal away, always a noisy bunch. They'll do what they can, so it's going to be an interesting one. A man said 2 dislikes from the beginning of every stream. You've got a pair of haters. Bro, I don't know what it is, my guy. You see it. I don't know if it's haters, someone dropping bots, someone moving mad, but it can't be a coincidence. There's someone that wakes up every day, and bearing in mind, I do a lot of content. So do you know how dedicated you have to be to hating on, man? If you are there to dislike every video, do you know how mad that is? I respect it, because that's consistency. That's the consistency I want to see in my team as we start to go on. But my word, you're right, man. Like Marco said, big up everyone. So again, it's a tough outfit, people. It's a tough outfit. When I throw some of my thoughts at you guys as well, Brighton are 6th place with 13 points. We're 10th on 9 points. So we've got to respect them for what it is. And I'm sure many of you would agree. No disrespect to Tottenham beyond the obvious, folks. But, we was looking at this game. Spurs are a bit of a wounded animal. We played them at the right time. Brighton are flying high, and all of these things. And for me, when it comes to Brighton, this is a tough month for us. September was good. We did our little September review and did all of those sort of things. But it's a tough month, October now. You've got Brighton. You've got Villa, forgive me if I'm wrong. You've got Palace, end of the month. Yeah, Leicester might not be, Leicester of old and flying, but it's still Leicester. It's still a team that we beat them at their place. They beat us at ours. And then you've got to think about November, where you've got trips to Anfield and you've got trips to Old Trafford. We're not going to win every game. We're going to drop points, but it's about consistency. Everything's gone our way for these 3 games, just like everything went wrong the previous 3 games. We need to see a base level of performance now. Again, fantastic result against Spurs, fantastic mentality and things, but you need to apply yourself in the same way. There's no given rights. And Brighton probably want to show that you lot are overrated and you lot are happy about nothing. So you're going to need to apply yourself. You're going to need to be strong in that regard. So hopefully we can do that, and we can match them really, and just be up for it consistently. What I would like to see, if we're real with ourselves and we scrutinize the last 3 games, Spurs, we was on top of them. Brilliant 20 minutes, brilliant 45, best game, full stop this season, But if we start to scrutinize it and cherry pick, when we win a goal up, when we did go up, we did start letting Spurs get one too many openings in the game, and there was an incident. Son drew a big save from Ramsdale. Obviously, the second half was a bit too even, and there was margins that could have went against us. You know, Ben White, that penalty is being that we've seen penalties for Kane given. We might have should have had a pen for Gabriel, but if they had a pen, if the Mora one deflects in, you know, if Kane chips Ramsdale and hits the target, it's a different game. There's no ifs or buts in football. Facts are we won, but these same way fine margins are going for us, they can go against us. Now, the Ben White against Brighton, you know, that could go against us. You've dropped 2 points. I wouldn't blame him. And obviously, he would have made the mistake, but we'd all have played a part in dropping points because we didn't put daylight between us and Burnley. Norwich, probably out of all three of the games, the most one sided affair there was. But if you remember towards the end, Gabriel and Cedric had to make good slide tackling efforts. At some point, these margins go against you. So I do want to see a clean game. Better man management, better game management from the players, managing themselves, and also Arteta. Because again, to go to the Spurs game, we're very naive. It's like I like that we was, you know, pressing well and all of those sort of things. We was pressing, we was doing all these things, but in the second half, you've got to be a bit smarter. You know, it's not sustainable to be able to, you know, again, look at Liverpool. We're nowhere near Liverpool, but Liverpool were a bit like that. You know, they would play the same way from minute 1 to minute 90, and that wasn't going to bring them trophies. So what has Klopp did over those years? Over these years, people, if you get where I'm going, you know, over these years, what have you seen? You've seen better game management. They've married what they're about in terms of pressing, etc., and then they've obviously married it. And if we're gonna press, we need to know we go out of steam. You know, it's physically unable. And I think in the second half against Spurs, the players needed to be a bit smarter. You didn't need to force things. You know, let that fourth goal come to you. It's like we're playing the same way, like we're still chasing the game. That kind of shows our age and our, you know, our naivety. And I think obviously Arteta could have made one too many changes. We've got to know, all right, cool, you know, let's just sit in, let's just frustrate them. If an opportunity presents itself, it presents itself. And I think you're going to need game management against Brighton, because Brighton keep fighting until the end. You know, they were poor against Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace are the reason they never got 3 points. You know, that mistake has come. Whoever's in goal for Palace, I want to say Guita, but he's taking a goal kicking, and Brighton have exploited that. So what's a lesson Arsenal can learn? You switch off, you don't get 3 points. It's going to be a big game. You know, they're a good team. They're very street smart, as you can see with their experienced individuals, people that have been around the block. They've got a street smart and adaptable manager. They can play a 4-4-2, sorry, or 3-4-3 if required. They've got a good technical level. We did the double over them last year, which is almost, as an Arsenal fan, somewhat hard to believe, the more I say it. But again, we beat them by a goal to nil. I don't think that will be the occasion here. They got lucky against Crystal Palace. I'm sure they want to hit back and have a perfect performance. You know, as I said, I'm tempted to go with a, you know, how do we go against them? Do we go against that? Do we press them? Do we try and, you know, create 2v1 overloads on the flanks? Again, they come into this in really decent form. Their last 5 games, they beat Brentford 1-0. We failed to beat Brentford. We haven't gone against Leicester. And again, it's not quite the Leicester side we've seen, but they did beat Leicester 2-1. They drew with Palace and they lost 2-0 to Everton. So yeah, as I said, we beat them 1-0 last year, but much like the Spurs game, it means absolutely nothing, people. So we need to stand up to be counted. And again, I know there's question marks over Basuma and all of these guys, but we're going to need to stand up to be counted. And they have got some quality players, like that new left back that they've got, the former Barcelona and Getafe man, Cucurella. We're going to have to, you know, Saka or Pepe, I want you making sure he defends, because he's going to fly forward. And I don't want that for obvious reasons. So make sure you make them man there defend. What the best thing we could do is score very early, because especially when you play with a back three, it flips it. Think about it logically. If me and you are playing each other's teams, right, and you score against me and I've got my team's playing a back three, it's a stick or twist, because again, it all depends how your three at the back is played. But if I concede, I know that to a degree I have to. Apologies, folks. But I know if I play a back three, I have to switch it up if I go down. You know, I either have to take some people off, revert to a 4, or I need to start going forward a bit and asking my centre halves to play. These can create errors. You know, again, that back three, it doesn't matter what back three you play, your centre halves have to get onto it. get onto them. We know they're going to play balls into the channel. They're probably going to try and exploit Kieran Tierney on the back post. We know set pieces, not that they're a set piece side. Set pieces are an area that we cannot expect to switch off from and get anything out of this game. We know players are going to raise it. Yeah, we've won 3 games, but let's be real. People still look at Arsenal as a team. You should be getting 3 points, as a team that's lunch meat, as a team that can be got at. If things are going wrong, man, start crumbling. Because again, yeah, we've beat Spurs, but we've done this. Last season, we beat a whole heap of big teams. We took decent points of Chelsea, took 4 points off United, beat Spurs, beat Leicester. But in the grand scheme of things, these things there didn't mean much. Beat inform. Well, Drew came back from behind against the informed West Ham. But these are winning battles and not necessarily the wars. We are gonna drop points. But if it is to be a bad day at the office, how good can you play when you're playing bad? Because that's what makes title winning teams, keeps people in the top 10, top 4, top 6 in the division. You need to be able to take points when you haven't played well. You need to be able to draw when you don't deserve it, win when you don't deserve it, not lose when you should have been battered, As much as I love what we're doing, I haven't really, and I'm not going to say we haven't had adversity. We haven't had to react to adversity yet. We haven't been a goal down yet. And I can't keep moving the goalposts, but there's still a lot of question marks. Imagine we played a team where, Kane was in form and Spurs never had the things they're going with. If we played Spurs in August, it might be a different affair. Same way last year, we kind of played Brighton at the right time, if you're honest with yourselves. I swear we played I think it was like Brighton, West Brom. I want to say Chelsea. I'm not sure. It might not have actually been Chelsea, but there was a favourable run of games there. So it is what it is. And it's like Con is saying, Duffy is very good on the set piece attack and defense. He was our top goal scorer during the qualifiers. Again, you can't afford to switch off. And I hope we've done our homework. When we move like how we did against Harry Kane, Lucas Moura and Son, looks like a team that did their homework. When we move like how we did at home against Chelsea and very naive with Lukaku, I don't know, because we're gonna need to win our first and second balls and consistently contest them. Tomiyasu. One thing I like about him is his aerial presence. I'm gonna need him. Ben White, I think people get at him a bit too much. I think if you look at him against Norwich, he got decent numbers. Spurs, decent numbers. Even, what was it? Brentford, he had decent aerial numbers. It's just people look at the one time you lose out, especially to someone like Toady or whatever, and that's a stick they want to beat you over your head with. I'm going to need you to stand up to be counted. Gabriel's typically good in the air. I'm going to need him. Tierney, I'm going to need you, covering, offering an outlet, speaking. Ramsdale, I'm going to need his voice. Midfield, Partey, pick up where you left off against Spurs. That was a big performance. Lokonga, come in and show people, give Arteta a headache. I don't expect you to play like Xhaka, or whatever, but go and give him a headache, or even Maitland-Niles if you get thrown in. I need my front 3, 4, including the 10. You've got to press. You've got to sit in. You've got to work. I need it because Brighton are a very tough outfit, people. Very tough team to play, man. A man said you and Tom are a top combination, moving like Bergkamp and Wright. Top watch on the Twitch side. Come on, and appreciate that, Mr. Adlib. And the good thing is, we're going again on Twitch at 2:10, people. Harry's there. Big up, Tom. Make sure you check out the Gooner Talk TV and whatnot. DG, you may need to stop scheduling these on YouTube and just posting on your community page when you're going live, because this hater won't stop. Probably, man. Make sure you're hitting the like button. I don't know, man. I see that brother already has 2 dislikes patterned for your watch along. We keep going, man. Jamie, it's a sad life some man there live, but all we can do is pity them. DG's living rent free, and I know it's called the baby mums are living. I'm living rent free in the baby mum's head. The more I can always tell you, Gally, I appreciate the support, but your husbands or your boyfriends or whatever, they're a bit of a they're a bit nonchalant. They're a bit stupid. It's not making sense. So if you're gonna listen to me, please, earpods, like the earpod Donny at Arsenal, earpods, get me. Headphones, you get me? Shout me, I'll send you some, because your man's a hater. I understand you want to listen to DG while you're making your fry up, you're in your little, in the pum pum shorts and that. I understand. DG, is the man MCM or whatever they call it, but your man's doing a mazza on my lives, man. I'm just here trying to earn a living like everyone, man. So shout out to the haters, shout out to the dislikers, shout out to the baby mums and girlfriends out there, baby face killer. Although we're starting to get 1-2 chin hairs. You get me, man? Got a beard in that. But anyways, back to this, people. Back to this, man. Get back to this. Broski, it must be. It must be. Appreciate the viewers, them in America as well, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, man. Somehow I fear Maupay is going to score against us. Richard, that's the one thing I can't take, man. He's a rattler. you know Maupay's a rattler. He's on it against us. You see what they're go on their Twitter page, people. They're relishing it. I want to shut Brighton up. I don't want to lose to them because you know this is the biggest game in their history. This is a big game for them. You know, they're gonna be clipping up bare things. So all I'd say is don't bottle. And if we lose, we lose, but don't let it be the typical fashion in which Arsenal losing typically. You know, you lot know already, switching off and all of these things. Don't let it be one step forward and 10 steps backwards and whatnot. Appreciate you lot in America. Man, I tuned in from North Carolina and it's 6:40 a.m. Appreciate you lot because it's stupid o'clock, man. Get some sleep, man. This live stream will be there. Anders, appreciate that, man. Stop the cap. What are you talking about? Is the guy who disliked the video stalking you? I don't know, man. It's much like, man. And I respect everyone's belief, but I don't swing that way, man. So you get me? You're gonna have to do something. No, you have to allow me, man. Just allow the vids. But listen, the good thing is, no matter how much they dislike, the DG Nation is growing. They can't delay it. They can't deny us, people. You know, cream rises to the top. So one love to everybody locked in. And one, you know what? If you want to dislike, you are allowed to dislike in the same way you're allowed to hit the like button. But if there's anything more sinister, fuck them, man. Enough said on them. So if you're out there and you know you're doing it, we see you, we recognize it, but you're not gonna win. Listen, you're not gonna win. You're gonna see us grow to 50K, etc., etc. You're not gonna win. Basuma could make the game according to Potter, Welbeck too. Bro, them man want to make it. Obviously, I don't want to read too much into what Graham Potter is or isn't saying because there is probably an element of truth. There's a little bit of hoodwinking, just like we did. You know, if you listen to Arteta, Arteta was out there saying, "Oh, I don't know if Xhaka's gonna be fit. Ideally, you want to keep the players who've played the majority." And then what Xhaka started and things like that. So obviously, for me, let's factor in that Basuma is playing. Whatever. The only hope is that with Basuma is that he's not fully fit. Now, obviously, not a fully fit Basuma is still Basuma. Danny Welbeck, he's going to be a terrible player to play against. You know, he might lack quality in front of goal, but he works the channels well. He is strong. He does get chances. We know what Danny Welbeck brings to the table as Arsenal fans. So again, and you've got technical quality all around the Brighton team. They have the ability to mix and match. So it's something we have to be wary of, people, really and truly. I don't want to read too much into team news, but if you want, you know, this is what is on the Brighton website. You know, Brighton Albion will be looking for their fifth win of the Premier League campaign when they face Arsenal. So go out there and mash it up. Simple as that. As you lot know, people, we all know Maupay scored in his last game, and we all saw his comments on Monday Night Football saying he hope Henry doesn't like him. I mean, doesn't hate him if he scores on the weekend. Let's not make that a thing. As you lot can see here, Basuma is making progress, but it will be a decision for later on in the week. Danny Welbeck is seeing a specialist, while Steven Alzante won't be ready for the weekend. So make of that what you will, folks, really, really and truly. Before we get into the lineup and all of these sort of things, I want to go on the Twitter account or Bueno because I think he works for what's the thing called? Like, what's them stats people called, man? I can't even remember. Opta. But he had some decent ones. You look at it, Lacazette probably won't start, but Lacazette has scored in 2 of his last 3 appearances against Brighton. Nicholas Pepe scored in 3 in his last 2 appearances against Brighton. So maybe 2 players that aren't involved, it might make the difference. Maybe it will be a case of the super subs people or sort of thing. I'm scrolling down a bit more. Brighton have never kept a clean sheet against Arsenal in the Premier League in 8 meetings. So let's make that 9. Arsenal have had different managers for each of their last 5 home meetings with Brighton, people. 1983, you had Neil. 2017, you had Wenger. 2019, in May, you had Emre. That same year, you had Lumberg. And obviously, in this year, today, 2021, you've got Mikel Arteta. So make of that what you lot will, people. There's things to consider in all aspects. But away from that, I think it's time to get into the lineup and things. Come on, Daniel. Joey, you know. CS, you know. H, you know. Tino, you're lying, but you know. I can vouch for DG has stole my girl stole my girl multiple times. That's a lie, man. I don't do that, man. I just know I'm a handsome young fella, and I know these haters, baby mums, be feeling the guy. Because why else would you hate on someone you don't know to this level? But fair play, man. You know, you lot are a bit spooky, but it's cool. But if we look at it from a tactical point of view, people, now if I share my screen with you guys, and I also draw for my notes. 1 second, folks. I can bring it up. Where's my Google Doc sheet on my phone? Sorry, folks. because I need it to be able to look at it. But if we start looking at this from a tactical point of view, no, that ain't the sheet I would cry on. I mean, the sheet I require some Rizzler, but you get to a point. If we look at their game against Crystal Palace, people, where they actually didn't do much, they were actually quite, it was an even affair. But both teams, well, Brighton had 4 shots, Palace had 3 shots on target. They had 8 shots apiece. But if we look at the actual lineup that they went with, people, again, a 3-4-3. Let's put their keeper. Let's put their keeper there. Let me put my notes in front of me. Let's just go with you in goal, just because you're there already. Obviously, that's Sanchez, Dunk, Duffy playing the Ben White role now. And then obviously you've got that. Then obviously, you've got the fullbacks, Coriella now. You've obviously got that on the right-hand side. Also, let's push them a bit further forward just because it looks a bit easier to comprehend. That's the fullbacks. You've obviously got the 2 men in the middle, Pascal Gross and Lallana, the experienced Lallana. And you have seen them gone with a 3. Obviously Maupay works the channels very well, and his movement is top drawer as well. So if you switch off for a minute, he's obviously going to hurt you. They've got Tossart, and obviously they've got Welbeck. Now Welbeck and Maupay will be quite interchangeable. Welbeck will work this channel. Maupay will work and get onto the last shoulders of our centre halves that I'm going to put in a minute. They're quite a narrow side. They're quite a good technical side, people. So at times they're going to be quite narrow. Their team's going to tuck in. Fullbacks are going to tuck in. Really and truly, midfielders are gonna work hard, have to work hard. Welbeck is gonna provide that width, but I can't imagine Tossart wants to stay out wide, so he's gonna naturally float inside, and that's an area we need to be careful of, people. So I don't know how we go again about this. Like, do you go with a back 3 and match them in all the areas and whatnot? Or do you switch? Do you keep a back 4 and run the risk of potential overloads? Like for me, again, it probably won't be him, but you've got to look at Coriella. He flies forward, Spanish fullback. You've seen what he's on. These are the sort of things. I think we have to overload that midfield. They've basically got 4 in midfield, but if we focus on that, as I said, Tossart probably drops quite in real time. I think you see something like that. I think these lot are far more narrower than you expect. If Basuma plays, Basuma can be aggressive and help them in the press, but I think they'll be quite narrow. Like I said, with the fullbacks, they'll be width from the left side more so than the right, in my opinion, with Veltman. You'll probably see Maupay stay centrally. Welbeck will cover the half space. So I think you'll see you'll see in real time something closer to this. Now, this is where we potentially run the risk of potentially getting overrun in midfield and whatnot, people. So yeah, there's an issue in that regard. So do we go with a 4? Do we go with a 3? Only God knows. Me personally, I don't know. I was about to say, just as I said, me personally, part of me wants to go to a 3, part of me wants to go to a 4. And I can't lie to you, I'm happy that I'm not Mikel Arteta, man. I can't lie. I cannot lie, but it's scary. Let me go with my heart. All right, cool. So you know what? It's the Ben White derby, and I'm trying purposely not to make it all about him, but it's the Ben White derby. Let me remove all of you lot for a sec. Put you all in your half. In fact, let's just put them back where they were, man. Let's just make it obvious. Let's just go with a basic 3-4-3 with Brighton, just because it looks a bit more pleasing. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, let's just leave it as that. So I'm going with Ben White. Again, like I said, overloads because they know better. Let's be real. Ben White looks like he is very naive. He's still learning the tricks and trades. Again, he needs to be switched on. And if I'm him, you look at the goal we conceded against Spurs. If you lot remember, just very quickly, not to scale, but it comes from this right hand side, the opposition's left with Son and that. Now, if you remember now, yeah, Tomiyasu. He's not really done well enough there. He's tried to nick it and it ain't worked against Brian Gill. Saka has switched off and Saka's unaware. My man's onside for what it's worth at the time, but Saka has switched off. Ben White could have covered, and then you obviously had let me put that back because that's Tomiyasu. Ben White could have covered. You had Odegaard and you had Partey who could have all done better as well. That's an element of what's the word I'm looking for? That's where I would be looking to exploit Brighton, because as good as we were defensively, we did switch off and we do go through moments. Like I said, against Spurs, I think the second goal was the most crucial because after a good 15 or so, there was a little 5-minute spell where Spurs stopped respecting us. They started to have opportunities. And I think I said it earlier with the chance that Son had in the first half for Ramsdale. Again, if you've got Danny Welbeck, who can be an inside forward off that left, if you've got Maupay, who, you know, his movement is good, and you've got a naive defender who they know, this is an area. So how we talk, how we organize that defensive unit, I hope I'm overselling Brighton and it isn't this, but this is something to be wary of. And that's kind of makes me want to go with a 3. But away from all of that, people, and removing everyone quickly, I'll probably go Ben White. First thing, I'll go Ben White. Obviously, Gabriel picks himself without a doubt. You know, you see what he brings to the table. You know, Aaron Ramsdale picks himself as well in goal. Goes without saying. Tierney picks himself. I mean, you know, the defense picks itself really and truly. If we're going, we'll talk about a back 3 in a sec. But if you're going with a back 4, it quote unquote picks itself really, really and truly. Yeah, there's about 4 players. What's going on? So yeah, it picks itself essentially, people. So yeah, obviously you've got Tomiyasu, and I'm gonna need Tomiyasu aerially in that game as well. So that's that. I think the midfield there isn't too much to pick from, like you lot saw, people. So it's a Lokonga for me and a Partey affair. I know you could. Do you know what? A part of me thinks you might as well just go Odegaard, Partey, Smith Rowe in that 10, and then go with a bit more of a direct threat, you know. But a part of me thinks Smith Rowe, I need you to be narrow. Come on, if they're going with a back 3 and they're going to suffocate the midfield, go inside and do your thing. But I do think this is a game, especially on the right hand side, where we need direct threats. As much as I like Saka, and Saka plays right wing for me, you know, Saka it comes quite narrow. Tomiyasu is quite a narrow guy. You know, he gets narrow and Tierney bombs on. This for me as a fullback, if I was Coriello, not that I know anything, but that tells you to go forward. So I kind of want some direct threats. But saying that, Smith Rowe did do a good job against Tanganga, exploiting the spaces he left when he went forward. So it could be that. But a part of me is thinking, do you know what? I would go Lokonga and Partey. My first thing was Lokonga and Partey, folks. So I'm gonna stick with that. I don't know if we switched off against Spurs. We looked comfortable without the ball, which I think we've been missing. I did think we switched off. There's elements in all 3 games we've switched off. We switched off for the goal. If you get comfortable, that means you switch off. If you get comfortable, you're getting complacent. We definitely switched off for that goal. Without a doubt, because we was defending quite well. In fact, even in the second half, it looked a mixture of getting tired and switching off. And without a doubt, we switched off. Because if you're telling me, I'm not going to bring up the example again, but if Brian Gill and Regulon, if Regulon's not being picked up, if Gill's not, if it's too easy for Gill to keep hold of possession, if we're not following runners, we did, and there was half chances. So I think there's a balance, you know, looking comfortable. There's 2 sides of that coin. But going back to this, initially, Partey and Lokonga play for me. Centre midfield, that probably goes with Odegaard without a doubt. Odegaard, again, you see what he's bringing to the table. Aubameyang retains his space for me. Now, again, it's a bit of a different one because you're playing a 3 at the back. I don't expect you to win all them battles and do what you was doing against Spurs, but can you work those channels for me? I still want to see us, if we can progress on the counter attack like we did against Spurs, then we can win this game. So my first initial one, probably do that. You know, Smith Rowe gets in for me here. And then obviously, you know, again, I've just said that he picks himself in Bukayo Saka. But then again, I think this team is far too narrow. Like Smith Rowe's skill set, I know on the counter attack he went out wide, but he's an inside player. He doesn't want to run in behind too many times. He wants the ball to feet. Saka gets quite narrow, I think, under Arteta's instruction. I want Aubameyang working the channels. Tomiyasu's going to get forward, but he's not really there like that. Tierney's going to get forward. How much can Tierney get forward against a back 3? I don't know. And without that help, that handbrake, which is Xhaka now, Lokonga can do it, but I don't know if he understands Tierney's game like that. So there are gaps that potentially could be exploited. Obviously, a byproduct is Gabriel's going to have to get wide. You hope Tomiyasu gets wide. We can spread the pitch. Lokonga and Partey can be slightly further forward, and we can do something along these lines. So that's what I will go with initially. Now, if we was to put everyone back in formation very quickly and stop stretching out the side, there are maybe a couple of changes I would make initially. Now, if we're still going with a 4, as I said, I might do a thing like this where, similar to what we saw against Burnley, I'd go Partey and Odegaard. Smith Rowe would probably move inside into the 10 for me. No, Lokonga would not be playing left wing. I'd probably get Pepe, Martinelli or Pepe, but I would get Pepe in there. Of course, you could go with Aubameyang out wide and go with Lacazette, but I'd probably get Pepe because I need a direct threat. Really and truly, I need one of you need to take on that fullback, or one of these fullbacks needs to think twice about going forward. If both of them go forward, we're gonna be in trouble, really and truly. Especially if Basuma is there and they've got that added license to go forward. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. You're checking out the pinned message because obviously after this live stream, I'm heading to Twitch at 2:10. So that's one thing I'd go with. Now, if we're gonna switch it up to a back three, now this is where it gets a bit techie because it's the third centre half that gives me problems. I mean, do you do a thing where you go with these man? Sorry, Brighton, for a sec because you're getting in the way. Do you go with Tomiyasu coming inside? I go with Tomiyasu on the right because I think if Ben White's off that right hand side of the centre halves, they're going to be pinging it over his head. Tomiyasu does better, and that can kind of help in a healthy way protect Ben White. A part of me actually wants to go with Tierney in there, but Tierney, I think they're going to try and exploit the lack of height Tierney comes with. You could have Marie in there because he's a good reader of the game. His lack of pace, and especially against someone like Maupay, who's going to work the channels, doesn't fill me with any confidence. Maupay is a rattler, and I think Holding would be good. Holding is good in the air, but again, I'm not too sure. So I would go with a back three. A part of me wants to bring Tomiyasu over there and then get Maitland-Niles in the team, but I'm not too sure, folks. So yeah, if I had to, probably go 3-5-2 initially. So yeah, Ben White, Gabriel. It's where it gets a bit techie, folks. It gets a bit techie. It gets techie because I don't really know for that third centre half. I would put Tomiyasu there, but same way I like seeing you at right back. So you know what? And I don't think Ben White in the middle is what I want to see. So do you know what? I think I'm just gonna go Ben White. You're gonna play off that right. You and Tomiyasu need to talk. I'd probably bring Holding in just because he's a bit better than with the other guys for me. You've got Gabriel who can pull over. Tierney stays at left back for me. 3-5-2. So we need a 5-man midfield. So then what am I doing? I'm bugging out. Bring you forward. Just get out of the way. Sorry, folks. It's very difficult to look at, man. I'd probably go. Someone's got to miss out. I want to get Lacazette in there, but then I am liking the look of this team. I can't lie to you. Odegaard there, Smith Rowe there, Saka just off Aubameyang. I know Saka can obviously go left back, but then again, you've probably got to drop someone. You can't probably get Smith Rowe and Odegaard and Saka within that team. I do want Lacazette and Aubameyang through the middle because I think that gives us a lot in terms of pressing. I do think if Pepe and Martinelli miss out on the bench, you've got at least two of your three subs that kind of impact the game. So again, part of me, obviously, I'd more. Do you know what? I'd more want Odegaard off doing that pressing thing, but Saka can operate off him. I don't know. I don't really want to see it, but so in a positive way, I'm a bit surprised by this lineup. I'll probably go with this. It's a bit of a madman thing, people, but I'd probably go with that. You can't really drop Saka or Smith Rowe. Odegaard and Partey, it is what it is. You could bring in Lokonga. You know what? You could put Smith Rowe on the bench, move Odegaard into that 10. Lokonga gets in via that. You've still got an elephant in the room with Saka. And of course, you could put Tierney at centre half. Saka could play left wing back. That's how you get Lacazette in, or even a Pepe off that. I mean, Saka's played 10 for us, but I would more want Smith Rowe operating. It's not as a striker, but just off that striker. And they'll probably all rotate and things. And do you know what? Actually wouldn't mind it, I'm on it. I'm actually on it, I'm actually on it. We're close to 100 likes, so close, but not far. Hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you're setting your reminders for the watch along tomorrow and all of those sort of things. So that's probably what I would go with, people. Let me know your opinions in general. In fact, let's take in your opinions, full stop. Let me set that timestamp. But yeah, that's all I've got to say in relation to Arsenal versus Brighton, really. And on that note as well, folks. I mean, we've seen what Arteta's had to say. If you haven't, go to my last live stream because we spoke about we reviewed what he was saying, man. I think Holding deals with things quite good in the back three, yeah, man. And I just think we need a rattler. I think Holding's on that. Brighton strikers are quite short, to be honest. Welbs ain't that tall, really, and can be bullied easily if you stick Gabriel on him. I'm not sure on that, but fair play. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love the sense of humor, DG. Love from Canada. Ahmed, appreciate that, man. I love to the Canadians locked in. Maybe a similar lineup to Burnley, but switch Pepe and Saka on the wings. We have Ben White, so it is what it is. But for content's sake, would you have taken Dunk over White? No, I wouldn't have, to be fair. I'm not going to lie to you. I would have left them all alone, really. You know, I would have left them all alone. As I said, I'm happy with Ben White and I'm more happy with Ramsdale because he's doing more. But I'm not going to sit here and say, or lie and say, when we were screaming goalie, I was saying Ramsdale. I was cool with it. And as you lot saw, he's linked with it. But I wasn't screaming that. And I definitely wasn't screaming 50 million for Ben White when we was linked when we was linked with him. In fact, I thought it was a bit of a lie until I actually saw, this isn't just paper talk. We're trying to do this. I think many people looked at it and said, I don't think we're doing that, because he was linked with, the Liverpools and Uniteds and Cities and these teams, and then he started getting linked with Arsenal. So yeah, man. Hi, handsome. How you feeling today? Appreciate that. I'm good, man. I'm good. Bit tired, but it's always a pleasure to be with you guys and have this community and whatnot, man. 4 for me if it ain't broke. But same way, I hear you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we've got to realize, with Arsenal, we just need to find one consistent way of playing a certified 11 and things. But as you know, it's a squad game, and you can't, unless you're City and them teams there, you can't really play the same. You can't really play the same way. Arsenal, we lack balance. We either, under some managers that have been here, we play one way and it's that way or the highway to whatever success, or we have too much tinkering. But I think you need balance. On one hand, as you said, I don't really want to change things. But on the other hand, I do think this is a healthy game to change one, two little things like we did against Spurs. Because let's be real, I'm not saying no one would have had Saka or Smith Rowe to start, better yet, or Aubameyang through the middle, or definitely Xhaka centre mid, sorry. But these changes happen, or certain people were kept in the team, and it worked. We do need to change things at some times. How you play against Spurs might not be how you play against Brighton. How you get 3 points at home to Palace might be completely different to how we go with Leicester. Now, we could change it and it doesn't work. Same way, if it went left against Spurs, we'd say, why did Xhaka play? Why did this happen? And this is the nature of the game. But I agree with you, Daniel, in that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, I'd be kidding you if I said, I think we have to give serious consideration to potentially matching them, going with a back three. And because for me, with a back three, if we keep the same principles, trying to go forward, break with some intensity, we can create some overloads. I don't want that Coriella guy going forward too many times. Veltman doesn't go forward as much, but he does, sort of thing. And if they've got Basuma, they've got that handbrake in their back three to go forward even more. So yeah, man, if that's just how I feel. So it's one where I'm happy I'm not Mikel Arteta. I can't lie. It's one where he has to seriously put it under consideration. But it's all about the mentality, man. It sounds cliche, but tactics and these things, to a degree, it goes out the window. It's about the mentality. It's about how we react. We know we're playing an informed side, a very good side with a very good manager. We know there's a bit of rivalry with certain of the players and as the club. We know they're gonna have their 12th man. It's a Premier League game, Saturday evening fixture. It's gonna be a mad one. The last time we had an evening fixture against Brentford, we messed it up. So let's stand up to be counted in this fixture. Hopefully, anyways. 230 of you locked in, still not 200 likes, man. You lot are doing the guy dirty. What's all of this about, folks? But yeah, man, we keep progressing. So yeah, that's all I've got to say in relation to Brighton. What else are you lot saying before we get on to certain transfer stuff and the rest of it? Exactly, we do defend in a free anyways. Tomiyasu goes quite narrow. But it's under fullbacks, because if Tomiyasu's playing centre half in this game, who's gonna go fullback? You probably have to draw for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I know Saka has played right wing back for us before. I don't know if that's it, because I don't want to go back to shoehorning bare man in the team. I'll shoehorn one or two and get them in, but I don't, because suddenly you start messing up the balance. And for us, because we're not got the most street smart of individuals, even like we spoke about game management, I just think we just have to keep perfecting what we're doing. Let's perfect one way of playing. Let's lock it down. Then when the street smartness and people are smart, then you can start chopping and changing and whatnot. So yeah, man, that's just how I feel in that regards. Whatever you said here, Anders. Hopefully, Arteta next season will give Saliba and Guendouzi a go. I don't want to see Saliba go without a single game played for the senior team. Gonna need to probably think about starting to give him a new deal, but I'd 100% agree. I do think Guendouzi's gone. I have hope that he could come back, but I think you got a year left. 9 million obligation to buy with Marseille. I know there's been one or two rumblings that they're not happy with him, but seems good as gone. And maybe we sold him too early, even if he is to go, because maybe if you just held on to him for a year and still loaned him out, He's been called up to the France team and things. There could be a bit of a, you can make more than 9 million. Marseille stand in good stead to make a little profit, man. Sometimes it looks like we play a free in possession, so should be able to match them up. That's it. Again, you're right. TT goes quite narrow. Arteta's got what he wanted in that regards. Brighton had a good start. What do you think their strengths are? With respect, my guy, I think I've just spent 39 odd minutes speaking about Brighton's potential strengths. So if you ain't heard me, you ain't heard me, my guy. But yeah, man. Smith Rowe in the 10 would bang. He would stop Basuma dictating the play. I don't even think Basuma necessarily dictates the play in that Brighton squad, but I hear you. I mean, Smith Rowe and Odegaard, I do think when you see the games with Spurs, they get applauded for it, but they really are vital to our team in terms of pressing, etc., etc. I think Arteta is going to put Ainsley Maitland-Niles next to Partey. Now, if he's played next to Partey, he's got his opportunity, in it. You've been getting minimal opportunities, but you've been getting some. Get your opportunity, take it, and complicate things. I think when Xhaka is fit, every day of the week he's going to start ahead of you. But if you, Lokonga, Partey, even Odegaard off the back of playing there against Burnley, complicate things. I still want a centre half, man, personally. But Suma is looking like a doubt for this game, so I think that midfield would work. Otherwise, I'd bring in Sambi. We are all locked in from Magical Kenya. Shout the Kenyans. Looking a bit defensive with 5 defenders and a DM. I think it's only as defensive as you make it, really. As long as your intentions to go forward with balance, it's not necessarily that defensive. Where Arsenal's concerned, it is. Still think I think bro, I slightly disagree. I agree with what you're saying in what Tommy's being a centre half and stuff, but I do think the lack of overlapping will cost us at some point because you take a runner with you. Look at my man. What's his face? Hakimi against Man City, just overlapping, creating problems. Odegaard, Partey, Smith Rowe for you. Daniel is saying I would pick Pepe for this one. Good problems, man. Same thing against Spurs. Against Spurs. Against teams who match us, top 8 teams, but we know against these lower teams we struggle majority of the time. It's just if the mentality is there, I think we can put them to the sword and absolutely fuck them up. Pardon my language, man. Palace was Ish versus Palace. I mean, Brighton was Ish versus Palace. They just got lucky last minute, so we can slap them. They're not. Yeah, man. No worries, bro. No worries. It's just, yeah, man. But yeah, just because you just dropped in strengths, they're a very technical side. They're a very street smart team. They have got individual quality. They can cut you open. Maupay's got good movement. They've got Pascal Gross. They've got, you've seen what Brighton have got. They've got players that can cause problems. They can exploit mistakes, as you saw for the goal. I don't think it was luck. I think Palace handed that to them. It all comes from a goal kick and they're exploited. Sometimes that's all you need. The marks of a team is, can you get stuff out of games not playing well? There's been games where Arsenal have played exactly like that and we've lost. Can we get draws when we don't deserve to draw? Can we win when we don't deserve to win? When everything points to us losing, can we save face in games? This is what is going to make or break Arsenal's season just as much as turning it on against Spurs, picking up 9 points from 3 games. Because again, it sounds all great and stuff, but there's a lot that we as a football club need to work on. These games haven't been clean from minute 1 to 90. And of course, I'm cherry picking,